I mainly draw portraits and faces all the time, so me drawing objects is kind of like a challenging thing. Very challenging. I don't draw objects at all. So this is me studying how to draw objects, and I'm taking you with me so you can understand my process of how I depict these objects. So for the references, I'm using a fire hydrant, a rubber duck, and a pen or bobby pin. And for the fire hydrant, I'm gonna be starting with the fire hydrant first. I actually had multiple fire hydrants that I were using, but I didn't download it or I didn't save it. I was trying to find it in my history and I couldn't find this. So this is the quote unquote fire hydrant that I was using for reference, but it's not what I actually used for reference. So originally, this piece or this fire hydrant had an original, which I couldn't find a reference for. And I didn't like the first fire hydrant I drew, so I restarted. I made this one. I can't find a reference for it. It's fine. So I'm using the original reference I used. Didn't like it. The shadows were too hard, and this is my first try at drawing this object. So I'm like, let me start off a little easy. I want something where I can see the clear shadows. I'm not a digital artist by any means. I do a lot of traditional art. I draw with pens, pencils, highlighters, you name it. I don't draw digital. So it wasn't a huge of a learning curve because I do paint, and I believe the same things when painting is applicable to when you're drawing digital. So the idea of doing a rough sketch, line art, and painting or coloring the piece, it's very foreign to me, but not foreign in a way. So I'm applying the same knowledge that I do as a portrait artist to making this piece. I don't draw with very clean lines, as you can tell, but when drawing this piece, I enjoyed how it looked like. It was very hard. I didn't know how to stabilize my pen. A lot of people use stabilizers to make their line art cleaner, but I kind of just accepted how it looked like. This is my first one, so I was like, it is what it is. But I applied the same knowledge as portraiture, which is I looked at the key features and I just laid out the shadows and I said, this is my final piece. But yeah, I really enjoyed how the fire hydrant turned out at the end. It was very um, tough piece. Not tough in a sense that it was hard to draw, but it was hard because I didn't know where it would go or where I wanted it to go. It was kind of like I just winged it, especially at the end. Like I didn't know how to complete it. I feel like it needed more, and the highlights were very prominent, and I believe it had so much texture, and I just didn't know how to represent that texture. So I did what I had to do, and I enjoyed how it came out.
Free flowing, sailing with the wind, not knowing how this story ends. Kind and brave, I know you'll find a way. Live your truth, and good will come to you. Home, sweet home, home, sweet.
Earlier in the intro, I said bobby pin. I meant to say push pin. When I was drawing this push pin, this was one of the fastest ones I did, both of them or the other two was 30 minutes. This was, I think it was 15 minutes. This was the shortest one. But I believe it's that it's like it was a push pin. It was very easy to draw. I didn't really have to think too much, but I wish I did. Because when looking back at this push pin, I believe I did not capture how the push pin looked like. But I didn't want to draw red again. I wanted to draw a different color. I wanted blue, actually. Because I'm like, I already did red. Like, I feel like my eyes are already stimulated by red. So let's switch it up to blue. And God, I don't know what happened. I feel like it just did not, I just did not capture the likeness of the push pin. And like, even like at the back where it's supposed to look like a push pin, it looks like a whistle almost in a sense. I don't know, it's just so weird. It's like foreshortened, but it takes so much space. It's, I don't know. Looking back, I was like, I really wanted to redo it, but I'm like, God, just dug it through. And you know those times where you just like, you want like, if you restarted it, you know you would have done better, but you're like, no. You just want to keep on going because you can't admit to yourself that it's bad. And this one was very bad. It was very bad. It looks crazy, but it's a crazy push pin. It's a crazy push pin. Now for the final object I'm drawing, which is a rubber duck, I was a little scared, or I was a little hesitant to draw on a rubber duck because I feel like I was scared it would turn out real, like a real duck. But I don't know why I had that fear. No, I think the reason I had that fear was the eyes in particular. The eyes, I thought I would make them too realistic, but it turned out great. I really enjoyed how the rubber duck actually looked like. It was a little frustrating because it didn't have as strong of shadows, but I wanted this one to challenge me, and I wanted to see how I would depict the shadows, because there was no harsh shadows, and I love harsh shadows. It makes my life 10 times easier. So I had to really understand the painting differently, which I kind of started like this cross hatching thing that I did, and I just liked how it looked. I really enjoyed this one. It was very fun, I would say. I would say this piece I did use the airbrush a lot. The other pieces, it's not like I didn't, but this piece I used it a lot because look at it. Like, it's not, I would say it's not one which has a lot of clear shadows, so I had to airbrush stuff a lot. And I believe when finalizing the piece and rendering it, it took a lot of trial and error. I was trying things out, I was taking things off, trying things out, taking things off. And there was this weird glitchy thing that happened every time I erased things. So it was just a lot of stuff that was wrong with the painting, but I just said, no, I'm gonna make it through the other side and I'm gonna finish this painting. And it turned out great. I don't know. But if you have any thoughts on it, I'd like to hear some, but I believe it turned out great. But it was frustrating trying to get those shadows because I wanted to add another layer. When I use the IBS paint, I use a multi-layer, but I'm only doing this in one layer. Everything is in one layer. I don't use multiple layers anymore because it's too overwhelming. It's too strenuous. I have to remember all of it. Everything's in one layer, and that's the final. Which I enjoy, but I don't at the same time because there's something beautiful about having multiple layers that just makes life a little bit easier, I guess. But yeah, I enjoyed it very much. Like, if you couldn't tell, I said it like 10 times, but yeah, it was very fun to draw.